If you are a solopreneur in sales, or you are any kind of consultant where you are in sales conversations that take a lot of time and engagement and you have to remember a lot of stuff, this is for you. If you sell widgets or you're in e-commerce where a lot of stuff just happens on your website, this probably is something that you could skip. I want to show you how to use Obsidian as a client relationship management tool, which is really cool. It's simple, but also very effective. Now, this does not have all the bells and whistles that something like HubSpot or Zoho might have. If you're already used to those things, awesome, great, keep using it. If you are looking for a solution, then this might fit you. If you need to coordinate with other people, if you have a whole sales team, this is probably not for you. That's why this is really good for solopreneurs who just need to keep track of where their conversations and opportunities currently are in the sales process. Now, I want to show you how to use this with a screen grab and kind of a walkthrough. And to do that, I'm going to be using a fresh install of Obsidian. We'll install the plugins and everything else that we need to build out a very simple but effective CRM for you. Let's dive in. Now here you can see I have a completely fresh install. Nothing has been done to it, and it is completely stock, which we can see if we open up the core plugins and editor. As far as what version, I'm using version 1.3.5, and it's up to date. There have been some really cool recent updates, but depending on when you see this, this is the version that I'm using. And we'll get into the plugins in just a moment, but I like to start with organizing some of the folders and files that we'll need. And if you want a deeper walkthrough of how to create folders and that kind of thing, I'll have a walkthrough video linked up in the video here. But basically, when you're in sales, you need to keep track of clients, and you need to keep track of the company that those clients work for and the deals that you're working on. And also we'll need a place for our deal template to go, because we are mainly going to be focused on the deal, the opportunity, and we will have opportunities with companies and we'll have contacts at those companies. Now, there might be multiple deals for the same client. There might be multiple contacts per company that you're working for, and each of those contacts might be a different deal or opportunity. So that's why, as we're moving forward, we're mainly going to be focused on the deal, and we want to understand the relationship of the person that we're talking to and the company that they work at. So that's why we have these folders here where we'll keep track of this kind of stuff. And basically, what we are going to do is to build out our sales pipeline. Now, in order for us to do that, we will need to install a community plugin, which I got to turn on community plugins, and then I'm going to browse for Kanban. It's one of the most downloaded plugins on the entire platform, and we'll install and then enable it, and then we can go to the options, and there's no limit to the number of options and tweaks you can make to it. We'll go into some of these details in just a little bit, but basically we've got where we can start. So without making any other tweaks, I'm going to hit Command P, which brings up the command palette. And again, if any of this doesn't make sense to you, go check out some of my other Obsidian videos and it will explain it all here. But basically, I want to create a new board, and we'll call it Deal Flow. And then over here, what it's asking for is what what are the different stages of the pipeline. So we can say this is a lead, and then we've scheduled the conversation, and then we had the first meeting, and then we presented proposal, and they liked the proposal, and it's in negotiation, and then closed one, we got paid, closed, lost. For some reason, the deal never went through. So now there's our pipeline. It really is that simple. And now we can clear that out. And now we've got the pipeline here. And I can make a couple tweaks here. First one is add a card here at the bottom. Once it starts to fill up with a lot of deals, this add a card button gets pushed to the bottom. So I want to go over here to settings, and we're back into the Kanban settings, and prepend, append new cards. We'll say prepend. And now that add a card button is up here. And now we can say add a card, and we'll say it is huge consulting deal. There we go. And then I want a new note from card. Now I can put in a whole bunch of details in this deal. So I might say contact is so-and-so. We'll say Sally. And then company is Widget Co. Perfect. And then notes are whatever. And then, well, since I've done this once, I'm probably going to want this another time. So let's check this out. Command N for new, and then we'll say new deal template. And then we want a contact, a company, notes, and to-do list. Those might be the details that we want to keep track of the most. And there we go. And I want it to be something that we can check off, right, as done or not. And then every new deal, I want this format to it. Now you could bold it, you could use headers, you can make this as fancy as you want. I mainly want you to see what you can do with it. So this new deal template, I can close this out, and over here in the sidebar, drag that into my template folder just to keep things neat and tidy. And now we can go back to our Kanban settings. And I like to do this. I like to go back and forth to change things when I see I could update something. That keeps me from being overwhelmed of having too many things to remember all at once. Use it the way that I use it, and then go, oh yeah, I could tweak it this way, and then make the change then. So here, note template. Any note that I make in Kanban pulls from this template. So I want the new deal template. Boom, just like that. And then new notes in this Kanban, well, that should go in deals because I want to keep track of all my deals. And then going down here, tag colors is pretty cool. We can dig into that later, but that's a little beyond what I want to focus on right here. And all of this looks pretty good to me. Except I want to hide tags, hide displayed tags in card titles. There we go. That'll make more sense later. But now, if we add a smaller consulting deal and hit enter, and then make a new note from card, voila. It has all these pre-filled in. Now, going back to the huge consulting deal, we can see that this is ghosted out and this is ghosted out because Obsidian's really cool. It doesn't create the note until you need it. So if I hold down Command and click on that, it pops up a new note, and you see it pop up over here, and then over here, Widget Co, Command, click that, and now this is real. So Widget Co is a company, and Sally is a client or a contact. And now I can see that Sally is in a client folder, and same with the Widget Co. If I open that up, it's a company. It's in the company folder. So that's pretty cool. So that helps us keep everything organized. So now, and actually the to-do, we can fill out all of that. And before we get into that, I want to show you, it's really simple. As we move through the process, I can drag this through the pipeline and know exactly where the deal is in its life cycle. But now, the second piece is keeping track of what I need to do inside each step of the process. So it's kind of like you need a to-do list manager. And this sidebar is really, really going to be handy. And to do this, we're going to need another plugin, which is Community Plugin, and then Browse for Reminder, which is really cool. So I'm going to install and then enable, and we'll do the options for this later. And then another one is natural language dates. So I can say tomorrow and it will understand what date that is. So I want to install that and enable it, and that will come in very handy as well. So now the reminder plugin, what time do we want reminders to fire? 9 a.m. when you start. Okay, cool. And you can remind in different time segments. The calendar pop-up trigger, this is the shortcut that you're going to pay attention to the most. And for that, it's open parentheses @ symbol. And that's the trigger that I've gotten used to, and it's the one that makes the most sense to me. So that's pretty much it that we need from there. And over here in the upper right-hand corner is where reminders is put. So let me show you how it works. So inside the consulting deal, we'll make a checkbox, and the thing I need to do is to call Sally. And when do I need to do that? Well, let's do it on the 6th at 09:07. So now over here on the right, you can see at 9:07, call Sally on Tuesday. Now this is really cool because you can do the other thing and put that at another time. We'll put that on the 13th, and that'll be at 14:09. And now you can see that over 1 week away is the other thing. Now, inside all of your deals, inside all of your call notes, everything, you can create a check item and then put that time component to it, and reminders pulls it all in to this sidebar. So now when it's Tuesday and you show up at your keyboard ready to work, you look at your reminders for the day, and now you've got your pre-sorted to-do list for today, and now you can just go through and fire out all of your to-do list. So you can have your deal flow Kanban board open, see your to-do, click on it, and it automatically goes to the deal where that to-do lives. So you can have notes under the to-do list or whatever it is. Another thing is that you could have a call note with Sally today, or whatever you want to call it. And now you can have another folder, call notes, and put that in there. And then say who, Sally, when. This is the natural time. If you just use the @ you can say, when was it? Today. So as you can see, I'm recording this on the 4th of the 6th month in the year 2023. And now I can do my action item in here and say it's for the 5th. And it's for deal, huge consulting deal. There we go. Right? So I've already linked everything together. I've got my contact, I've got my deal, I know where in the deal flow it is, and I've got the action item. So everything is connected to everything else very quickly, very efficiently, very simply, and I know where the deal is in the pipeline. I also know what next things I need to do, and I set the date that I'm going to do the thing, which is the difference between do-o date versus DUE date. Side note, due dates, DO dates, are way better than DUE dates because you want to set aside time on your calendar for the time that you're going to do it so that it is done by the time that it is due, DUE, for the client. Because if you set DUE dates, the DUE date might show up and it has not been done yet, and it will catch you flat-footed. So if you always think of it as DO dates, you're way more likely to get it done in time and never be surprised by the lack of time for the thing that you want to get done. So always use DO dates, not DUE dates, when you are managing your task list. So with just this, I hope you can see how powerful it can be, simple but effective, to help you keep track of your contacts, your companies, your deals, your deal flow, be able to keep track of where things are. And another cool thing is that if you have different kinds of services, or say you do SEO and maybe you do PPC and you do email, but this is not an email deal, because we selected the option to hide tags in the title, it now shows it down here so you can see what kind of deal that you're working on at a glance. So you could say, okay, it's SEO and that's PPC, but this one is a keynote and it's also a cocktail party. Voila. So you can really have a lot of fun with these tags to know a lot about the deal at a glance. And then you could also say, if you have any kind of event-based business like me, I go and do shows, I go do speaking engagements. Well, when is the engagement going to be? Well, I can add a date and there it is. But this date in the title is kind of ugly, so we're going to go back to the options for the Kanban view and then hide time. Let's see, hide card, display dates, show relative dates, hide dates in card titles. So hide that, and now it's got a clean thing, and then there's the date. But also, I'm gonna go back in here, and in the time, I want to show a relative date. So instead of the date specifically, I can also see that it's in a month, there's the specific date. So now I've really got a lot of information at a glance for my deal, and I've got my to-dos all right here, and then I can keep things organized with my folders over there. So yeah, that is about as fast as I could go and still cover the things that I wanted to cover. So hopefully it makes enough sense without being too confusing. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please hit me up down in the comments below the video here on YouTube. If more videos about Obsidian are interesting to you, then I've got a whole playlist of those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything I wanted to show. And if you like this kind of thing, I would highly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and check out this other video I think that you would be interested in. And as always, remember, if you can change your mind, you can change your life.